The Samaritans are one of the most enigmatic and ancient communities in the world. Their history stretches back thousands of years, intertwined with the early stories of the Holy Land. But while their religious and cultural traditions have been studied extensively, it's only recently that genetic research has revealed new layers to their story. What secrets does their DNA hold? And how does it help us understand not just their past, but also the broader history of humanity? The Samaritans are often overshadowed in historical narratives, known primarily through their portrayal in religious texts, such as the Bible. But this small, tightly knit community has survived for millennia, preserving their distinct identity despite the challenges of history. They consider themselves descendants of the ancient Israelites, tracing their lineage to the tribes of Ephraim and Manasseh, sons of Joseph. These claims, passed down through oral traditions, are now being examined through a scientific lens, as genetic studies attempt to uncover the truth behind their origins. What makes the Samaritan story so compelling is the remarkable way they've endured. Once numbering in the tens of thousands, their population has dwindled over the centuries due to persecution, assimilation, and isolation. Today, only a few hundred Samaritans remain, split between two main communities in Israel and the West Bank. Despite their small numbers, their unique traditions and beliefs remain steadfast, offering a living link to an ancient past. But who are they really? Are they as closely tied to the Israelites as they claim? Or does their story involve more complex migrations and intermingling? Modern science has begun to answer these questions, using cutting-edge genetic tools to analyze their DNA. The findings are not just illuminating for the Samaritans themselves, but also provide insight into the broader history of the ancient Near East. This journey into the untold genetic secrets of the Samaritans begins with an exploration of their historical roots and unfolds into a groundbreaking scientific investigation. It's a story of resilience, identity, and the remarkable way human history can be written in our very genes. The Samaritans' origins are deeply rooted in the history of the ancient Israelites, but their story diverges in a fascinating way. According to their own traditions, the Samaritans trace their lineage directly to the tribes of Ephraim and Manasseh, two of the 12 tribes of Israel. They believe they remained in the land of Israel after the Assyrian conquest of the northern kingdom in the 8th century BCE, unlike many Israelites who were exiled. This belief forms the foundation of their identity and their claim to be the true keepers of the Torah. Historically, the Samaritans and the Jews developed a significant divide, primarily over religious and cultural differences. One of the most prominent points of contention was the location of the sacred temple. While mainstream Judaism centered its worship in Jerusalem, the Samaritans maintained that Mount Gerizim, near modern-day Nablus, was the holiest site. This theological disagreement cemented their split and led to centuries of tension and marginalization. At their peak during antiquity, the Samaritans numbered in the hundreds of thousands, thriving as a distinct religious community. However, their population began to decline drastically due to a combination of factors, including wars, forced conversions, and social isolation. By the late Ottoman period, their numbers had dwindled to fewer than 150 individuals. Today, the Samaritans remain one of the smallest and most tightly knit communities in the world. Approximately 850 Samaritans live in two main areas: Holon, near Tel Aviv, and the village of Kiryat Luza on Mount Gerizim. Despite their small size, they've managed to preserve many of their ancient practices and traditions. They still read a version of the Torah written in ancient Hebrew script, and their religious rituals are remarkably similar to those described in biblical times. This historical and cultural continuity has long fascinated historians and anthropologists. But as modern genetics has entered the scene, it has provided a new lens through which to view the Samaritans' past. Scientists have sought to determine whether their claims of direct descent from the ancient Israelites hold up under genetic scrutiny. The results of these studies have revealed connections that not only validate parts of their oral traditions, but also unveil surprising complexities in their genetic history. The story of the Samaritans is one of resilience and survival. Over thousands of years, they've withstood persecution, assimilation, and the pressures of modernity, holding steadfast to their beliefs and identity. But how does this resilience manifest in their DNA? What does their genetic code tell us about their journey through history? The genetic story of the Samaritans is as intriguing as their historical narrative. For decades, researchers have been fascinated by the question of their origins. Are the Samaritans direct descendants of the ancient Israelites, as their traditions claim, or have migrations and intermarriage shaped their genetic makeup over time? With the advent of advanced DNA analysis, scientists have been able to investigate these questions with remarkable precision, uncovering fascinating insights along the way. Genetic studies of the Samaritans began in earnest in the late 20th century, with researchers analyzing both maternal and paternal lineages. Paternal ancestry, traced through the Y chromosome, is particularly important in the context of the Samaritans, as their traditions emphasize lineage through the male line. Early studies revealed that the majority of Samaritan men shared genetic markers with modern Jewish populations, supporting the idea that they share a common ancestry rooted in ancient Israel. These findings align with their oral traditions, which claim descent from the tribes of Ephraim and Manasseh. The story becomes even more fascinating when maternal ancestry is considered. By analyzing mitochondrial DNA, which is passed down exclusively from mothers, researchers discovered that the Samaritans have a more diverse genetic history on the maternal side. This diversity suggests that over the centuries, women from outside the Samaritan community may have married into the group, introducing genetic variation. This blending of maternal lineages adds complexity to their genetic narrative, highlighting how their small population has remained both isolated and interconnected with neighboring groups over time. One of the most striking findings from genetic research is the degree of continuity between the Samaritans and the ancient Israelites. Despite their small population size and centuries of decline, the Samaritans have retained a remarkable amount of genetic similarity to the people of the ancient Levant. This continuity offers a rare glimpse into the genetic makeup of the ancient Near East, providing clues about the broader migrations and interactions that shaped the region's history. However, the genetic studies have also uncovered challenges faced by the Samaritan community. With such a small population, they have experienced what scientists call a genetic bottleneck, a reduction in genetic diversity due to their limited numbers. This has led to an increased prevalence of certain inherited health conditions, a reality that has prompted the community to seek careful strategies for managing genetic risks while preserving their cultural identity. The genetic analysis of the Samaritans offers more than just validation of their historical claims. It opens a window into the ancient world, connecting their story to the larger narrative of human history. Their DNA preserves a record of survival, adaptation, and resilience in the face of immense challenges. But how does this genetic continuity align with their cultural traditions? And what does it reveal about their enduring identity? The genetic continuity of the Samaritans is not just a scientific marvel. It is deeply intertwined with their cultural and religious identity. For centuries, the Samaritans have maintained a strong oral tradition that claims they are direct descendants of specific Israelite tribes, Ephraim and Manasseh, the sons of Joseph and Levi, the priestly tribe. What makes their case extraordinary is how well these oral traditions align with modern genetic findings. Genetic studies have confirmed that the Y chromosome lineages of Samaritan men show strong links to ancient Israelites, supporting their claims of unbroken descent through the male line. This connection is particularly significant because the Y chromosome remains stable over generations, serving as a kind of genetic timestamp that preserves the paternal ancestry of a population. In many ways, their DNA appears to validate the ancient stories they've told for millennia. But the genetic narrative also reveals something profound about survival and cultural resilience. Despite centuries of persecution, forced conversions, and population decline, the Samaritans have managed to preserve their identity and traditions. Their ability to do so speaks to the strength of their communal bonds and their commitment to maintaining their heritage, even in the face of near extinction. In addition to their genetic links to the Israelites, the Samaritans' traditions provide insight into the cultural practices of the ancient Near East. For instance, their Torah, written in an ancient Hebrew script, is believed to be one of the oldest versions of the sacred text. Unlike the Torah used in mainstream Judaism, the Samaritan version places Mount Gerizim, not Jerusalem, at the center of worship. This divergence highlights the unique path their culture has taken over the centuries, even as their genetic roots remain connected to those of other Israelite groups. The The Samaritans' genetic continuity also underscores the significance of isolation in preserving identity. For much of their history, they have lived as a small, tightly knit community, intermarrying within their group to maintain their traditions. While this has helped preserve their genetic connection to the ancient Israelites, it has also come with challenges, such as a lack of genetic diversity. Despite this, they have remained resilient, balancing the need to safeguard their cultural heritage with the realities of adapting to the modern world. Ultimately, the genetic and cultural story of the Samaritans is a testament to the enduring human spirit. Their DNA connects them to the distant past, while their traditions and beliefs keep that past alive in the present. As one of the few living communities that can trace their ancestry back to biblical times, they offer a unique and invaluable perspective on the history of the ancient Near East. The small population of the Samaritans has presented unique challenges throughout their history, especially in terms of genetic diversity. With fewer than 1,000 members today, the Samaritans face the realities of a genetic bottleneck, a phenomenon where a population size becomes so limited that genetic variation diminishes significantly. This lack of diversity can have profound consequences, affecting both the health and the long-term survival of a community. For the Samaritans, one of the most pressing issues has been the prevalence of inherited genetic disorders. With intermarriage being a common practice to maintain cultural and religious traditions, certain genetic conditions have become more prominent. These include rare disorders linked to recessive genes, which are more likely to appear in smaller populations where genetic variation is limited. Despite these challenges, the Samaritans have found ways to manage and address these issues while preserving their identity. In recent decades, the community has taken proactive steps to ensure their survival. For example, they've embraced genetic counseling to help prospective couples understand the potential risks of inherited conditions. This approach balances their desire to maintain a distinct Samaritan identity with the need to reduce the prevalence of genetic disorders. Additionally, the Samaritans have occasionally married outside the community, bringing in new genetic diversity while carefully integrating these individuals into their cultural framework. The challenges faced by the Samaritans offer broader insights into the effects of small population sizes on genetic health. They serve as a living example of how genetic bottlenecks can shape the future of a group, influencing everything from inherited traits to disease susceptibility. At the same time, their story highlights the resilience of human communities, showing how traditions and adaptability can work together to navigate even the most difficult circumstances. Beyond their own challenges, the Samaritans' genetic story has implications for understanding ancient human populations more broadly. Small, isolated groups like the Samaritans provide a glimpse into how genetic drift and bottlenecks might have affected other populations in history, especially during periods of migration or environmental change. Their DNA serves as a window into the past, offering clues about how humans have adapted and survived in diverse environments and under unique pressures. As modern genetics continues to advance, the Samaritan story raises important ethical questions as well. How should genetic information be used in studying small, isolated communities? And what responsibilities do researchers have when interpreting or sharing findings that touch on sensitive issues of identity and heritage? These questions remind us that the study of genetics isn't just about understanding the past. It's also about respecting the present and shaping a thoughtful approach to the future. The genetic bottlenecks faced by the Samaritans underscore both the fragility and the resilience of small populations. Their story is one of survival against incredible odds, a testament to their determination to preserve their identity while adapting to the challenges of modernity. But their genetic legacy is also part of a much larger picture, one that connects them to the ancient world and to the shared story of humanity itself. The genetic story of the Samaritans isn't just about their community. It has far-reaching implications for our understanding of ancient human migrations and the history of the Middle East. By studying the DNA of this small, isolated group, scientists have been able to uncover valuable insights into the broader patterns of movement and interaction that shaped the ancient world. The Samaritans are like a living time capsule, preserving genetic links to the populations that once inhabited the Levant thousands of years ago. Their DNA has helped confirm that the ancient Israelites, to whom they are closely related, were part of a complex network of human migrations in the region. These migrations weren't just one-directional. They involved waves of movement, with people mixing, settling, and moving again over thousands of years. One of the most significant contributions of the Samaritans' genetic data is its ability to shed light on the population makeup of the ancient Near East. For example, their DNA has been compared to other populations in the region, including modern Jewish communities, Arabs, and other Middle Eastern groups. The results reveal shared ancestry, showing how interconnected these populations were in antiquity. At the same time, the Samaritans' genetic distinctiveness highlights how certain groups managed to preserve their unique identity despite centuries of interaction and change. The Samaritan genetic story also offers clues about how historical events influenced human populations. For instance, the Assyrian conquest of the northern kingdom of Israel in the 8th century BCE, a key moment in Samaritan history, is thought to have led to the displacement and intermingling of populations. The DNA evidence supports the idea that while many Israelites were exiled or absorbed into surrounding cultures, groups like the Samaritans retained a direct connection to their ancestral homeland. Beyond history, the genetic insights provided by the Samaritans raise broader questions about identity and belonging. What does it mean to carry the DNA of an ancient people? How do genetics interact with cultural traditions to shape a community's sense of self? For the Samaritans, their genetic continuity isn't just a scientific finding. It's a vital part of their identity, reinforcing their claim to be direct descendants of the ancient Israelites. This story also serves as a reminder of how interconnected human history truly is. The genetic connections between the Samaritans and other populations in the Middle East show that even isolated communities are part of a larger web of human history. These findings challenge simplistic ideas about purity or separation, emphasizing instead the shared origins and migrations that unite us all. At the same time, the study of small, isolated communities like the Samaritans raises important ethical considerations. Researchers must be careful to respect the rights and traditions of the groups they study, ensuring that their findings are shared and interpreted responsibly. For the Samaritans, their DNA is more than just a scientific curiosity. It's a living testament to their resilience and their enduring connection to an ancient past. The Samaritans' genetic story has transformed our understanding of ancient migrations and human connections. But it's also a story about survival, identity, and the ways in which communities preserve their heritage against incredible odds. Their DNA tells a tale that is both deeply personal and profoundly universal, a reminder of how much we can learn about ourselves by studying the hidden histories written in our genes. The story of the Samaritans is a powerful testament to the enduring connections between the past and present. Their DNA serves as a living archive, preserving a genetic link to the ancient Israelites and the broader history of the Levant. But more than that, it reveals the resilience of a community that has faced countless challenges, yet continues to thrive, holding on to its identity and traditions against the odds. Through genetic research, we've gained extraordinary insights into the Samaritans' origins and their place in the human story. Their paternal lineages connect them directly to the Israelites of antiquity, validating much of their oral tradition. Their maternal diversity tells a tale of interaction and adaptation, showing how even small, isolated groups remain part of a larger human network. At the same time, the challenges of their genetic bottleneck highlight the fragility of small populations and the care required to ensure their survival. The lessons of the Samaritans extend far beyond their own community. Their genetic legacy provides a window into the migrations, interactions, and survival strategies of ancient human populations. It challenges us to rethink simplistic ideas of ancestry and identity, revealing instead a complex web of connections that bind us all. Whether through shared genes, cultural traditions, or the very landscapes we inhabit, the Samaritans remind us of the profound ways history lives on in each of us. But their story is also a call to action. It underscores the importance of respecting and protecting small, vulnerable communities, both for their own sake and for the invaluable knowledge they offer about our shared past. As science continues to unlock the secrets of human genetics, we have an opportunity and a responsibility to ensure that these discoveries deepen our understanding of history while honoring the dignity and identity of the people they represent. The untold genetic secrets of the Samaritans are more than a scientific curiosity. They are a bridge between worlds, connecting the ancient and the modern in ways that inspire awe and reflection. Their story is a reminder that even the smallest groups can carry the weight of history, and that through them, we can glimpse the threads that connect us all to the origins of humanity itself. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the genetic and cultural legacy of the Samaritans. If you found this exploration as fascinating as we did, don't forget to share your thoughts and let others know about this incredible story. Together, let's keep uncovering the hidden histories that shape who we are today.